You don't like it?
Yo, it's Jazzy Jazz with Lee Bailey's EURweb.com Spotlight. Sistas is back on BET. Yes, one of my favorite shows. And I got Danny in the house. Well, Mignon, that's the chick who plays her. You will not believe how different they are. Come check us out. Yo, it's Jazzy Jazz with Lee Bailey's EURweb.com Spotlight. I have the beautiful, talented actor Mignon Vaughn in the house. Well, kind of in the house, at least on the screen, right? With Sistas, one of my favorite shows. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, how are you today?
I can't complain. It's really nice. It's really nice. It's getting chilly everywhere, but you know.
I know, right? Like, where do you live? Like, I mean, what? I don't want your address because everybody, all these dudes would be running up on you. But, but what part of the world are you in?
I spend my time between the West Coast and the East Coast. Right now, I'm on the East Coast.
Oh, you're on the East Coast. Well, I'm a Harlem girl, so you know we're
Oh,
neighbors. But like I was telling you, I mean, I think because you play your role so authentically, I really feel like you're my girlfriend. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know me? Like we supposed to be having a drink, and I want to tell you all about what's going on with my exes and all. Get your advice like you give Karen and everybody. And yes, I will pick up the tab for Danny, you know.
Thank you.
Because Danny definitely, she wants everybody else to pay for her. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know, I think that's her fee for all the advice. You know, like no, that's fair. Like, you know, when they go get their hair done by Karen, they still pay her. Like all this advice. She rides so hard for them. I mean, the least you could do was buy a couple of, you know,
A
bourbon.
couple of drinks. I actually did have a girlfriend like that one time, and we used to have to be very careful about where we took her because we knew our pockets were going to be a lot slimmer when we left. So congratulations on Sisters. You are doing such an amazing job with that character. Now, she is hella funny, right? Is that some of that you? I mean, do you do any of the writing at all? Or although are those all the lines given to you by Tyler?
Oh no, he lets us ad lib and he lets, especially comedic characters. I mean, as a matter of fact, he'll throw lines in he didn't even have in the script. So it's definitely his writing. But you know, he lets us run wild, the comedic, especially comedic scenes, you know, he
Yeah, well, you are hilarious. I mean, you bring so much laughter to the show. And I just figured a lot of that was authentic. So, how much of Danny, the character that you play, is you?
it's so interesting because I don't know how to always answer that. Like it's the way Danny goes about doing things isn't how I would do them. But so what I do is I ground a lot of her over the top stuff in a very real emotion and motivation, so that it comes from an authentic place. I honestly I see myself as her advocate because she is really misunderstood, you know. So and there's so much method to Danny's madness. Like for instance, that grocery store scene at the end of season 2, there was, I know it comes across like it's very obnoxious, it's very annoying, but like she kind of says it towards the end. She's like, her face says that she has no idea, and these two not about to tell the truth. So, you know, if we walk away from this, there will never be any truth
So
being
now,
told.
who
Towards the
don't remember, for those who don't remember that grocery scene, just break it down for us.
So that's season 2 is when we see this relationship develop between Zach and Fatima. And of course, Zach is Karen's ex, and Zach is Danny's friend. And
Right.
so she's been, season 1 was her in the middle of their stuff, and Danny kind of learned her lesson. Okay, I'm out of this. Oh, y'all gonna work this stuff out on your own. Season 2, I guess that's a little bit of Danny still like caring about just all of their happiness. And she just met Fatima. She likes Fatima. She doesn't want to see Fatima get hurt. So she's seen Zach and Karen break up, get back together, break up,
Right.
get back together.
And the thing is, Fatima doesn't know that Zach is dating Karen. Karen doesn't know. I mean, and Karen doesn't know that Fatima and Zach are dating, and Fatima doesn't know that Karen is the ex. And then they roll up on each other in the grocery store, and then you kind of try to make that peace and bring that love, and at the same time keep it real. The
Right.
character that Danny
Right.
does.
Because
Yeah.
who else was going to, you know?
Yeah, that's so interesting. Well, the other thing that's interesting in real life, you are a very devout Christian. And so, like you said, many of the things that Danny does, because Danny's a little wild, she kind of a free spirit, wild child, are not things that you probably would do in your life. But how do you reconcile that difference?
Um, for me, it's not as much a reconciliation as much as it is I understand why. I always just want to understand why she's doing everything that I'm doing, So I think what we can all agree to is that there's nothing new under the sun. So the human experience and the human condition is something that has been around as long as we've been around. So a lot of stuff that Danny's doing isn't exactly an unhuman response to different pressures and stimuli from life, like in the given circumstances of life. So, I mean, there are some things I might want to do that Danny does that I don't do.
I think we would all love to be a little Danny, because
Yeah,
because
that,
Danny will say anything out her mouth. You know what I'm saying? She has a heart of gold, but she will
yeah,
say anything to anybody. So now you are in an interracial relationship, and that was kind of interesting to get into that uncharted territory in Sisters. So how did you feel to be the one to be able to rock that storyline out?
well, I think he wanted to make the obvious um, fish out of water scenario, right? Like you can see Andy in an interracial relationship, maybe not with the cowboy, because she would be another fish out of water scenario for this cowboy. I think the only so Danny would be the funniest person to put in that situation. So um I mean it's fun. Trinity is a good scene partner. Um but there are some things that um I don't even always agree with how things transpire between the two of them. So season 4, Danny gets to definitely get a lot of stuff off of her chest about how things have gone down, because Preston has gotten away with a lot because he is sweet and
Right.
because he is naive. So I think for Danny, at a certain point, being naive is being ignorant. And ignorant in this day and age is choice. And
Right.
so we get to kind of address some of that stuff because you can only skate by on being cute and nice for so long. And so
Well, Danny definitely steps to him about any kind of subtle racism that she sees. And one of the things that she shares with you that I have read is that low self-esteem. Danny actually has a certain amount of insecurities and low self-esteem, and as she begins to catch feelings for Preston, that starts to show, because to some extent she's protected herself against love, by not getting deeply involved. And I know you shared with folks that you too feel like you have struggled with self-esteem issues. Talk to me
yeah,
about that. So many of us as Black women do.
I think so many people do. The older I'm getting, the more I'm working on myself, the more I realize that a lot of the problems in the world have a lot to do with the fact that most people do not radically love and accept themselves unconditionally.
Amen.
And I mean, unconditional self love and unconditional self acceptance is, I think, the cure and the elixir for a lot of what's wrong in today's world. Because we'd have a lot of compassion for one another if we have more compassion for ourselves. So
Right.
Danny is definitely afraid of connecting with someone. However, it's subtle things that people don't always pick up on. Like Rodeo has definitely, he's definitely invaded her space on multiple occasions, right? The first time with the roses and the dinner, and Danny's like, hey, this isn't cool. His response is, I want to do what I want to do when I have all,
Right.
right? And I just remember as the actress, the line, his to that response, him putting his foot down was, I don't have a comeback. But me, the actress, I had a million comebacks because for a woman who is not as trusting, and for a woman who does have um, boundaries when it comes to her physical space, that's like the first thing you can't do.
Right,
You know,
right,
to trust you, you can't, even if you are doing it for good intentions, that doesn't matter. You don't
right,
get to decide
exactly.
what the person likes, just you want to love them. And
That
so
part.
it's little things he's done like that. Well, not so little. He did it again a couple of episodes later, but we focus on the fact that Danny was in there with another man
Right.
because he ghosted
Right,
after
right. And
arguing.
Danny ain't playing. She's like, don't play with me. Now, how is it working with Tyler?
Um, it's a lot of fun. Like um, it's a lot of fun because my character is a lot of fun. Um, but he's definitely about his business. Like we move really fast because that's what makes his process so proprietary, is that he does not take the same amount of time as the rest of the industry takes to shoot.
So does he
So
is he yelling at y'all like, come on, we got to get this scene done? Or
no, no, like yelling is not,
that's
that's
not
not
Tyler.
then that means several things have happened. And even the yelling isn't yelling, it's more so someone's in another room and he needs them to hear him. You
Right,
know, so
right.
like, yeah, when you're in that much power, like yelling is like, why are you yelling? You don't have to yell to get something done. So
Yeah, because it's Tyler Perry, right? So
yeah,
what's the funniest story you can think of from behind the scenes that might surprise us?
um, um, I can. There's a ton of funny ones. I'm sure I'm missing one, but like recently, I was filming a love scene, and he said to me, "Could you smile so you look like you're enjoying yourself?" And I asked the intimacy coordinator, I said, "Do I look tortured?" She said, "At times, maybe." So I was like, "Okay." Um, so because we go so fast, so shooting those love scenes are not ideal for somebody like me, because like for me, like it's just like intimacy is something that hits on multiple cylinders. Like Danny can hop in and out of bed with someone because she can really compartmentalize her emotions and physical pleasure. Me, it's kind of like it's a multi-faceted wheel. So shooting as fast as we shoot makes sex scenes hard. It doesn't matter how nice the guy is. It doesn't matter how cool we are. It just it's stressful. And so he was like, "You don't look happy. You don't have really," because I was trying to look like I was having a pleasurable time. It's like, just smile, maybe. I was like,
You were sitting there grimacing like, oh, I really got to
I
go through this.
I was probably holding my breath. I was probably like just like, oh, almost done. But yeah.
That's hilarious. So, a couple of other quick things. We were talking about Danny's low self-esteem, but in your own personal journey, how have you been conquering that?
I do all the things. I do the neurocycle by Caroline Leaf, Dr. Caroline Leaf. She's a neuroscientist and she's a Christian, and she's been working in this field for longer than I've been alive. So she basically talks about how you need to find the roots of a toxic thought, understand the perspectives and the behaviors and the emotions that grow out of the perspectives. I do therapy.
Good for
Uh,
you, girl.
Yeah, I also diet is a really big part of like what you eat will definitely affect, just your body's chemistry. Um, journal, watch things that make me laugh.
Oh, that's what's up. Wise
Mantras.
words, fam.
I,
Wise words, fam, because we all
yeah,
got it. And I love
yeah,
that you are focused on healing it. Now, where do you think it
yeah.
came from for you?
I mean, just childhood trauma, like as I was actually talking to my therapist today. She said when you're a kid, you're not able to think as abstractly, so things are black and white. And then our ego is this, part of the brain that's, maladaptive because of trauma. And so the ego was born out of trauma. And so it tries to make sense of pain, whether it's emotional or physical. But unfortunately, because it was born out of trauma, it makes sense of pain in a traumatic way.
Right.
So we
So
take
what was it for
trauma.
you? Like I know for me, I was actually an abused child, but what was it for you?
For me, it was, I mean, there's so many things. I just grew up in a home where we definitely focused on, um, there's, I mean, just a hypercritical environment.
Yeah.
Um, my parents had gone through so much, and because I don't think they had the same resources I have available, I think they probably have had some trauma responses. Like, I mean, they used to say things like, this person was an obedient child, and that's why their life is this way. And so I wasn't that, and this is why we're struggling. Do you want to struggle like me? It
Yeah.
was just that. And so
And
they just have,
hypercritical, you absorb all of those messages
yeah.
into yourself, and that's the voice sometimes you hear in your head. So I can really see that. Well, congratulations on all that you're doing, overcoming it, and you still, you faking it till you make it. Because look, you locked down that role. You are definitely leveling up in terms of your acting in this industry. I mean, you've done a bunch of other things that are just really dope, and I admire you as an actor. And you are definitely my favorite character on Sisters, no doubt, no doubt. So now, in your own dating life, have you dated interracially, or are you more like what is your dating preferences? Are you booed up right now, or you good?
I'm not. I'm not. I have dated interracially. Um, yeah, I think for me, I right now I've really been working on loving myself more, because for me, I didn't even conceptualize a lot of it as low self-esteem. It was really more so a lack of, because there were things I was super confident about, but when I just took a holistic view, it's like I could really work on loving myself more unconditionally. So here's an area of my life that is not as strong as it could be, should be, wanted to be, but approaching it from a place of compassion and self-love. So I've just been working on, honestly, my relationship with myself, because I know that when I love myself better, then I can love my neighbor as I love myself.
And
So
RuPaul says, how you gonna love somebody else? How the F are you gonna love somebody else if you don't love yourself? Hey! So you working on that part. So brothers, you can slide in the DM, but she probably ain't
I,
gonna hit you
I might
back.
I might not see it if you slide in my DMs. Like, I try to tell people all the time, like, that is not me. But go for it, because sometimes I do check it and I'm like, oh, I caught this message,
Because
like,
you are gorgeous, you are talented. I mean, that kind of is a challenge sometimes when you're dating because you're in the public eye. You don't know, are they clout chasing or are they just loving me for me, right? So that's always a challenge, right?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, we came into prominence during the pandemic. We were only on TV for, a, I mean, maybe 6 months before the world went on lockdown. So
Yeah.
I have a lot of grace in that area. I haven't had to deal with a lot of that because, I wasn't on a dating app. So um, it would have had to been someone introducing me to someone. So
Right.
I deal with that. As the world is opening back up, I'm sure that'll probably be something that comes up, but I mean, I wouldn't be the one to date for clout because I mean, I post on Instagram like, you know, Beyonce, like you don't know when it's coming. It's just gonna be there when you see it. Like, so oh, they got some content for you. Me, it's like, ta-da! I bless your time today. So, oh, I mean, good luck trying to date me for clout. That's all I can say.
Gotta date her for her. Okay. Well, any man would be very lucky to be by your side, no doubt. So when you're
Thank
ready
you.
to date, I cannot wait to see the man
Thank
that you boo up with. I
me
know he's
too.
gonna be a
I
boss.
can't wait to.
So what can we expect in season 4? Because when this airs, season 3 wrapped. So what do you think we're gonna see in season 4?
Girl, it's we saw it last night. We all have a group chat. It's coming back. See, like season 4 is coming back January 5th. So we on your TV like 45 out of the 52 weeks. Season 4, like I said, Danny, at least for Danny, she is definitely going. Her and Preston are going to just keep going through growing pains. I'm sorry, y'all.
And it's going to be funny and entertaining.
It's not super duper funny though. It's not super funny. I will be honest about
Interesting.
that.
Wow. And
Yeah.
Karen, she looks like she's starting to lose it a little bit. That's going to be an interesting storyline in season 4.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna be honest. This go round and even last go round, I started doing what a lot of actors do, is just focusing on their part in the story because you're not really supposed to know.
Yeah.
Like real life, you don't know what two people are saying in a whole nother location that you're not in. But then also, like I said, we shoot really fast. So I was like, I'm just gonna focus on my
I got to learn these lines. I can't worry about everybody else's, right?
and I'll read where Preston shows up in the script,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or I'll read where El Fuego shows up in the script, or you know, but I don't do a ton of it.
So make sure, fam, you put it on your calendar January 5th. It drops again, the premiere of season 4. I can't wait. I'm going to go through Sisters withdrawal until then, for real.
It's not very long.
I'm going to be where my girls at? Where my girls at? So one last question. You know, I was looking at your gram and I love that you posted something about Julius Jones. And that was the brother who, well, of course, you know, because you posted it. So what inspired that? Because that's an issue that's really close to my heart. Just the criminal injustice against Black folks, you know, especially Black men. So I was curious, what inspired that?
I worked in the nonprofit world. Um I just have a heart for justice because I've experienced um injustice on a smaller scale. Like, you know, bullying is injustice, like
Sure.
favoritism is injustice. Like it's one of those things that really are a trigger for me. Like when we're talking about where does that lack of self-love show up, and part of the things, like I used to my ego would rationalize unfair experiences as there's something wrong with me, I guess, because this
Right.
doesn't make any other way. And so with his case, just the idea of losing your freedom, and the idea, I mean again, being a Christian, you can wonder, where is God, you know, like in your life, if this has happened to you. And I just felt really moved. I was like, if there's anything I can do, if it's just telling people to call, and of course the phone lines became busy, so I was like, I'm gonna figure out another way. The comment, you could go onto the Oklahoma governor's website and send a comment. And so I put a link on my stories like, hey, you can't call, but you can put a
Well,
comment.
that,
And
you know, and you may have, I mean, I'm sure you contributed to saving that brother's life. So, an innocent Black man who was supposed to be executed, and
right.
then it was commuted, right, by the governor.
Yeah, it's kind of a hollow victory because it's like, all right, you didn't kill him, but he's still in bondage. But
Mm.
at least we got that far. You know, we do have to celebrate those small victories. Not that it's small. Not that it's a small victory because his life has been spared. So that's big. So if we can now figure out how to get his freedom back. But yeah, I think anyone who put a comment, anyone who made a phone call, anyone who put a comment, anyone who reposted, we all, really came together and help put pressure on this governor to be on the right side of history.
That's
So
right. The power of us unifying and speaking with one
yeah.
voice. Well, I congratulate you again on Sisters. Can't wait to see what you get into next. Can't wait for
Thank you.
season 4. And really, thank you for your voice on justice. That is so important too. So, love you. Thank you for stopping by Spotlight. Bye.
Now, fam, don't forget to subscribe so I can keep bringing you these conversations. Let's go, let's go.